when my son got his license, his full license, in January of 2006, I considered myself to be a responsible, mainstream parent of a teen driver, meaning that I did what I thought I was supposed to do, and I followed the lead of parents that I thought were responsible, particularly those who already had teen drivers or older kids. So I thought I was responsible, and I thought I was mainstream, and I thought I was doing what I was supposed to. So specifically for my son, we got together and we studied the manual that the Department of Motor Vehicles had given us. I gave him far more than 50 hours of on-the-road training, the requirement at that time being just 20 hours. I took him out in all kinds of weather. And just about the time that he got his license, mostly with his own money, which he had been saving up since he was old enough to know what a car was, we bought a used 1999 Volvo with 50,000 miles, nice, safe, sturdy car, steel girders in the side doors, airbags, a kind of a clunky vehicle, nothing he could ride around town and preen or say, hey guys, look at this. It really was an ugly, used little car, but it was a safe car, and I thought it was the right car for him. So as he started to drive, we had strict curfews. Every time he arrived at the door, having driven home, he got a top-to-bottom personal inspection. And on a couple occasions, I grounded him. And on one or two occasions when he really pushed the envelope, I actually hid the car elsewhere in the neighborhood, so he didn't know where it was. And, we had a few bumps along the way. In April of 2006, on a local street in West Hartford, he got a $204 fine for a double lane change without signaling, which he paid from his own money, which was quite painful. And then in September of 2006, he got a second ticket for going 42 in a 25-mile zone, again on a local street in West Hartford. And this second violation triggered what was then the only consequence other than paying the ticket, which was a required 4-hour training class at the Department of Motor Vehicles, a so-called retraining class. And he had 90 days to do that, to take that class, or else his license was going to be suspended. And he put it off and he put it off, and he scheduled that for the morning of Saturday, December 2nd, 2006. But he did not have an accident, and he generally proved to me that he was an alert, coordinated driver. He had a good sense of where the car was on the road and how to handle the vehicle. I would be lying if I said I was not also very proud to see my youngster doing a very adult thing of driving a car. And I'll be even more candid, and this will not be surprising to you. Boy, it was convenient to have another driver in the house. We need a pizza? Reed, go get a pizza. And as he got more experience, we got into late summer, early fall, and he was doing well. I let him on occasion go out and drive to hang with his friends. No particular destination, obviously a curfew, but you go out take the car for a couple hours and just be careful. And as you know, his accident then was Friday night, December 1st, and he died at Hartford Hospital in the early morning hours of December 2nd. And I'll come back to the accident because it illustrates a couple things that I want to make sure that you're aware of. But now, for the moment, let me fast forward a year to why I'm here tonight, how I became involved in these types of presentations. In 2006, in Connecticut, there were 49 teen driver-related fatalities in Connecticut. That's not just teen drivers. That's everybody who was involved in accidents where a teen driver was involved and somebody died. And now, in getting into stuff that I'm sure many of you will remember, in August of 2007, we had 4 teens die in a single accident in Bristol. And then in October 2007, 3 teens in an accident in Walcott, a 17-year-old boy, his 14-year-old sister, and the sister's friend. And at that point, to her credit, I think Governor Rell said enough is enough, and she appointed a task force to review and overhaul Connecticut's teen driver laws. And there were 2 slots on that task force for a bereaved parent. My hand went up, and I got appointed. And to kind of summarize, it became evident in that work of that task force that Connecticut had, at that time, one of the weakest teen driver laws in the United States. So we did our study, we had our meetings, we made our recommendations, the legislature went along, Governor Rell was very effective in her leadership, and on April 21st at Conard High School, 2008, Governor Rell signed the new bill into law. And any of you know anything about the legislature, to go from the appointment of a task force in December to signing a law in April is just unheard of in public policy. But we now have, as of August 2008, one of the strictest laws, teen driving laws, in the United States. Serving on the task force, I got a thorough re-education about teen driving. I learned that teen driving is far more dangerous than I had appreciated in 2006 when I was overseeing my son's driving. More to the point of what I'm doing now is I discovered that the literature that's available to parents of teen drivers and to teen drivers themselves tells us how to teach a teen to handle a vehicle, but otherwise it says basically have fun and be careful. So compare that to a cigarette box. It says right on the label, death is a likely result of this activity. You go into surgery, even the most routine surgery, you sign a couple forms. The doctor's letting you know that death is a potential result of any surgery. But the driving literature, even though driving is the leading cause of death in the United States of people under 20, says, here's how to handle a car, have fun, and oh, by the way, be careful. It was kind of a shock to me to see that gap in the information. And I saw parents, hard to say how many, but I saw enough to convince me that it was a phenomenon. Parents too often seduced by the pride and the convenience of having a new driver in the house, putting convenience ahead of safety. So after the task force finished its work, I felt compelled to put to use this information that I had learned. And so my goals in doing this and doing the blog and do the other things I do is to make this safety and risk information more accessible to parents and to help parents make better, more informed, upfront decisions. Not about how to teach your kid how to handle a car, but to decide whether and when they get in behind the wheel in the first place. Try to push the whole process back, not to drive a car, but whether they get in the car in the first place. And in the next breath, let me say that I'm not trying to tell anybody how to parent their own child because every child is different. My focus is, if you will, to sound an alarm. Because in our society today, if I can extend the analogy, the buzzer is too muted. And the first alarm is, there's this guy named Tim Hollister who's making a presentation tonight at Watkinson School about safe teen driving. I don't need to go. I don't have a teen driver, or my teen driving years are years ahead or years behind. So it's not my concern. The first alarm is that safe teen driving should be everybody's concern. So think about this. There are 3 million new teen drivers licensed every year in the United States. And by the way, when I say teen, what I'm talking about are the 15 to 19-year-olds with a particular focus on the 16 and 17-year-olds, which are known in the trade as the novice drivers. Very simply, the crash rates for teens are 3 times higher than the safest group, which is age 35 to 49. In the United States in 2008, there were 6,428 teen driver fatalities and 400,000 crashes in the United States. And by the way, that 400,000 number, as you can imagine, is a much squishier number, but the fatalities, I think they count those very exactly.